morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Trust everybody's doing well. So this is our monthly support call, which we have the first Saturday of each month. Here we have our practitioners come in and then share with us, answer our questions, share their journey with us, and we get to kind of like meet them. They also share words of wisdom, advising us on a way to go, especially regarding our career. Uh, we also have another session that happens on the third Saturday of each month. That's called the product deep dive. Here we're looking at a particular product area, and then having to look at that product much more intricately, and then we have a product demo. So and then we get to meet the practitioner, and then also provides us with tips on the job, especially for that particular product area. So we would be going on our way in a bit. This is all recorded. Normally after the sessions, we would always share the recording as well as the links, to get to meet our practitioner, grow their community. Also, this is all WebEx, so there is the chat feature. If you're not familiar with it, it's the smiley face with the plus icon. So you are more than welcome to use the emojis there, reactions. You can also put your questions in the chat. You're also able to raise your hand too as well if you're having a question. That way we can real time have our practitioners answer them as we go. So as we get these questions, we would be able to take them with our question set that we have, so that way we can be on our way. So don't forget, you should be muted already, but just in case you have any questions, yes, you can, once you get to know, if you're in a noisy place, also you're able to remember to be mindful and mute where you're asking your questions, so that we can be clear and have a clear and concise conversation. So to kick us off, we would, we do have Tosin, as well as Michael and Emeka, who are going to be sharing their journey with us today. So we would be, starting out, the first question, we always get to meet our practitioners. So we'll go in that order. So Tosin, then Emeka, then Michael. So that way we can take it in that same order, and then switch things up as we get them. So over to you, Tosin. So let's get to meet you. Just a high level overview of who you are, and then we can continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Emeka. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Tosin Dada. I am a Agile and Training Lead at Customizer. And my journey to ServiceNow has been from 2021 to 22 up till now. And it's nice meeting you all.
Good, perfect, Tosin. Perfect. Emeka, over to you.
Hi, Emeka. Good afternoon. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, you are. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm currently not at home, so there might be a lot of background noise. I'm currently in traffic happening. So my name is Emeka Chiazor. From the beginning, I started my career off as a sailor, worked about 10 years in the marine industry. Decided to, that was post-COVID, decided to move into IT since. Like that's where the change, because I was planning on moving away from where I was at location to somewhere else. And I didn't want to continue the career which I've built over the years, and I just needed to pivot into something else. That was how I made a lot of research, did other things before I ended up in ServiceNow. So currently I work as a ServiceNow developer, remote for Customizer, and have a second job as well. I do job in the UK. Thank you, Emeka.
Awesome. Good deal. Over to you, Michael.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michael Ezechukwu. I believe I'm very audible.
Yes, you are.
Please call my attention when I'm not audible, and sorry for the background noise in case my kids are screaming up and down. Okay, so I started my ServiceNow career in 2022, but before then, I've been a civil engineer. I've been a project manager, so for over 10 years. So my ServiceNow career started from 2022 through the Next Gen program. And currently I'm a ServiceNow technical project manager at Customizer.
Awesome stuff.
Thank
Awesome
you.
stuff. But a lot of people forget that the trio, Tosin, Michael, and Emeka, are the conveners of the Niger meetup. They did say that, be humble. They are the Service Now Niger meetup convener, which they had a couple of weeks. It was a huge success. But just so that we throw it out there, because that's a huge one. I mean, they are great community. They're doing something major within that space, which we all have to support. So let's go ahead and and get to know, how do you guys rest outside of work, because we know all work and no play makes us tired, so to say. How do you rest now, Richard? Go ahead.
I think for me, it would be that I'm sometimes able to kind of, put myself in certain compartments. Once work is done, work is done. Now, I work on the PST time zone because the company's in Vancouver. So during the day, I'm free, and when it's the nighttime, I have to work. But once that is done, I forget about work exactly around 12, 1 a.m. So, but really enjoying myself is my weekends. Weekends, I don't do anything work. I don't, whatever the emergency is, we can put out that fire on Monday. So it would be uh, Netflix, going out, and just, my dog, my cat, and catching up with my family and friends.
Perfect. That's what it
Yeah,
is. It's
yeah.
Michael, over to you. Go ahead.
For me, in Nanaimo, Vancouver Island, basically to specific, Canada. So I work normal 8 to 5, 8 to 4,
Okay.
to 5. So I basically recharge by watching movies. Like, yes, I have little kids that want my attention, so the attention is given. So, but I always love to recharge by straightening out my legs and catching up with my favorite series. And if it's time to hang out when my kids wants to go out, we take a stroll around the park, drive around. That's how I basically recharge most of the time.
Awesome stuff. Emeka, over to you.
Okay. For me, I work 9 to 5 as well, but I work twice during the week, and then I work all weekends. That's why I'm currently just losing from work now. And then after work, if there's anything to do, because of the time difference with customizing in Canada, especially when we have anything going on, that also eats into my nice time because they are hours behind. But for me to recharge, I have a 1 year old son who currently needs a lot of attention, and I'm splitting my days off with my wife because she needs to work as well. So it's me trying to balance parenting, working, and then upskilling as well. So those are like the three things that takes my time. But the free times I have to rest, I play FIFA on my PS, and then take my son out because this is the summer, and I take him out a lot to get him, um, taking a lot of sunlight. Then outside of that, I do a lot of photography, even if I don't post them a lot. I go around, take pictures of nice buildings, anything that looks photogenic to me. I just take them and put them in my archive. I don't really do much of movies because if I sit down to watch a movie, the next thing I'm watching one video that does not relate to you being calm. that would be one of those service now videos or any video of somewhere or somewhere I think I'm having a gap in. So I just see that now and I'm like, this movie is 2 hours. With these 2 hours I can cover this and that. So I just go away from the screen whenever I get the chance to just recharge and think about other things that add value to my life as well.
Perfect, perfect. But here's the thing, right? Uh, uh, we are all human beings, right? The work can actually you can get soaked up, and then burnout can come in. You need to be able to have that balance or strike that balance. So your work-life strategy, because um, we all want to be the best or provide the best service or be the best we can for ourselves and our community. There must be that time to you should be able to um, balance balance it all out. So for me, I believe in faith, your family and friends and community, which each one here has actually stated in a different regard, but you need to be able to make sure that when you're offline, you're offline. Like there's no work. Like it's that's the only way to recharge. Like if you need to, raise your leg off, right, to raise your feet, watch that movie. Even possible, even if you're not watching the movie, you sleep off from it, for sure. The idea is to make sure that you're not thinking of that work, because whether you like it or not, the work will go on even if you're not there. Remember that. If you remember that, just imagine when you're sick and then you're not putting your 100 for your family, and then that's really the key there. And then going out to nature is just like you're going out there, you're experiencing things, you're seeing that there's a life bigger than or outside of your own, inner bubble or inner circle. And then socializing with your peers, sharing ideas, bouncing off, catching up on old time, just that laugh, just being because you're a human being. That's the key. You're a human being. You're made for like that. Yes, you will have your me time, but you're made for you're made for made for others. You're made for something bigger. And then whether you like it or not, um, you need to be able to put yourself out there, right? Yes, there's going to be time for career growth or professionalism and stuff like that, but something that will just make you go into your bubble where you're going to be able to get your brain taxed up, to recharge, really, so to say, for the next go. Because
Honestly,
because
yeah,
the studying never stops or the getting plugged in. But in you guys' own case, it's even good. You know what time zone you're working in, right? Regardless of where your location is. You just need to make sure that I know it's hard because life or your family and stuff. You need to
Yeah.
make sure that you are like if you're able to attend to family, you make out that time to give yourself your own break while you kind of like prepare because you know that you're going to be almost working almost all through the night or whatever to try and merge it, because if you're not doing that, you're not putting your 100. It will show you from your productivity. It will show. It will show. It's just like being cranky. It will show.
yeah, that's true because I've not been when I started out in service now was when I became like I spent almost 8 hours or more looking at my screen and I've it's haven't it's been I've not gotten used to it yet because at the end of the day, it seems like because looking at the screen for 8 to 10 hours,
Mhm.
it seems I have brain fog. So
Oh yeah.
I don't want to think about any other thing. I just want to get lost in my show or
Yeah.
just get lost looking at something else because at that point I'm not thinking.
Oh yeah.
So
I
Oh
think
yeah.
for me the hardest part would be uh I wouldn't say it's the hardest part, it's just that, during the day where everybody you also have to be active because you need to get your life together before work starts in the evening for you. And then but I always have this thing when work stops, it stops. It's just like that thing just
Okay.
stops in my brain and I'm not looking at anything until the next day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but your own is a very peculiar one, which is very great, which is what I like. Like, I remember, a lot of people forget that once you make that sacrifice, people don't even know you're working, right? Because you just attend to the kids and all that, and
No.
everybody goes. You just now would make sure that you're in a dark place so that you can sleep, because if not, you would be active doing other things. But if you can just make sure, because
I mean, blacked out
yeah,
curtains
yeah,
are the trick.
you need to, yeah. If you can do that, it should be perfectly fine.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, good deal.
That helps.
Good deal. I love that. Good deal. And then the next question is getting us into the meat and potatoes. So how do you stay up to date with technology trends, especially now that we have that AI, which started I think 2018 or so, and then now it's Gen AI, where with the Gen AI craze, ChatGPT, and OpenAI and stuff like that. Everybody's kind of like rushing to see, where this technology is going to go, because the technology has slowly been getting better by the day, from the chatbot wanting to be online and stuff like that. But how do you keep up with these kinds of trends? Because for now, technology is not yet going to take your job, but someone that knows about these technologies going forward is going to definitely, because technologies are going to continue to help us evolve, right? To help us grow, help us improve and reduce, our our and reduce our own input within it. So we will get much more our people skill or supervisory level kind of job, if you will. So how do you keep up? Over to you, Tosin.
So me, I always say something when people say AI might be taking our jobs. I'm always telling them, you need to look for a way to work with AI, because it's not going anywhere. So once it's evolving, you need to evolve regardless of your role. And for me to keep up, even within ServiceNow, with the Gen AI and everything, I sometimes try to go into, because in the PDIs it's not really available. So I sometimes look into some of our demo instances at my company, where I'm able to see what it looks like. And another thing would be to always, you have YouTube, you have some people on LinkedIn who talk about all these things. You follow them, you read, and you try to see what it's like. And when it comes to things like OpenAI, ChatGPT and all that, I know some people don't like it, but I've always told people, as long as you're not putting, when you're using this kind of things, you're actually training it along with the trainers. So as long as you're not putting like information from your company or your own information in there, I think it should be like something giving like a skeletal, background for you to build on. Now, you shouldn't just spend all your time using that every time, because you start to sound kind of like a robot. But I feel as it evolves, you yourself should evolve too. Use it to make yourself more efficient in your work.
Perfect. Over to you, Emeka.
So, okay, I don't know how old everybody on this call is, but one thing I'm sure of is we've all lived through the growth of technology from when uh, I when yeah, we train you. So, we started from GRS software. So, I don't know if new things keeps coming up all the time, and it's left for you to decide if you want to keep up with the trends, or if you get too what word am I looking for? Too outdated is left to you. But one thing I can say for sure is keeping yourself updated is something that is very, very easy. It's very easy, and it will pay you out in the long run, because if you look at currently the AI warfare, no. I'll get another one. Yeah. So if you look at the AI warfare with what's currently going on, it started from ChatGPT. Now we're having Apple integrating it into Siri. we are having the growth of Twitter, we are having Copilot by Microsoft, and is it me by Google? So this is something that every big tech company can do. Just for you to decide if to no, no, but it gives you a skeletal explanation of what it thinks it should do. So it's for you to look at it from the business point of view and what you are building to know which to work with. So for me, keeping up to date, I use Twitter a lot. I use Reddit. I belong to a lot of. No, I'm waiting for someone. No, they're coming. Okay, so no, I got what I wanted. I was looking for the picture for them to send in. So where do I get palm olive? Okay. Forgive me guys for this story. So I use Reddit a lot. I belong to a lot of communities on Reddit where they discuss a lot of technologies, and I use LinkedIn, especially when it comes to getting up to date information on ServiceNow. YouTube. God bless the Indians, because everything you need to talk about and video about them on works and the now learning discovery information starts with, you looking for information that adds to the value of what you already know. Thank you, Emeka.
Awesome stuff. Although I know because you're a transit, some of that was actually me. So Michael, over to you.
Yeah. So a real one coming from the sector or based on my background. I haven't been in tech, and coming into tech, it's an ever-changing and ever-flowing sector. So I keep myself abreast with just getting into communities, meetups in the various aspects of my career, or should I say my skill set. I use my skill set to determine the meetups and the trainings I go into. So meetups, and I also subscribe to Medium, where I set the notification, because honestly I wouldn't just sit down and start searching for information. So when a notification comes up and if it interests me, I click it and read up on it. So, and I go to trainings as well. Trainings, especially in the ServiceNow ecosystem. I've been going through ServiceNow trainings, going through using the YouTube to keep me abreast, and as well as the Now Learning. And yes, I also use the Reddit to just see what's coming up, and the LinkedIn as well, when people talk about it on LinkedIn, talk about things on LinkedIn, about updates in the ServiceNow space. And so these are things that help me keep up with the current trends of ServiceNow. And for technology, for the whole technology space, Medium, meetup groups help me. Even if I'm not totally, my attendance rate is not 100% on all the virtual meetups. It's at least I tend to hit 70% for the ones topics that really interest me. So these are ways I keep up, and I read a lot. So with Medium and other publications that help me to keep up. It helps me read up on a lot of things about technology, especially not having to be in the technology space for the past 5 years. It's been a lot of catch up. Thank you.
All right, good deal, good deal. And that's awesome because the technology is going to be evolving. How are we going to be able to do the same thing? That's continuous evolution, or what we say, continuous learning mindset and growth mindset. That's really what we need. Continuous learning. So it's very important. It's big. And then, like you can see from each one here, it's a transition. You don't throw away your experience before. It all translates to, whether you're transitioning to tech. Yes, you can bring all of that because people skills, or what we call power skills, or your soft skills, that's a bonus, but it's a plus to you. And then you still have your core skill, the tech skills that can be learned. There's a lot of content out there for you to keep up with. And there's a lot of healthy community to help out with it. Don't miss it. It's very important. Don't miss it. I don't see any questions here yet in the chat. So I'll go ahead and ask the next one, which is training versus certification. What's your take? What's your take?
My take is okay. Sorry, Tosin, go.
Go ahead, Michael. So my take on that would be, I would say you should know the tool before you go get your certification, because you might get the certification and you can't speak the language of the tool. Mm-hmm. But both are important, right? Especially for people who are just getting in there fresh. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been in my company, Customizers, sometimes I'm involved in, resource management. Mm-hmm. And I see different types of resources that we kind of put on projects. Mm-hmm. For some people, example, I would be saying for people who are from maybe India, you find out that a lot of them don't have the CIS, right? They might just have the CSA, but they have, knowledge of, the ITOM, everything about ITOM, and they've been put on jobs. But you'll find people who have the certifications for ITOM in other spaces, other places, but they don't have the experience and they can't really speak the tool, right? So I would say in your goal for getting certified in ServiceNow, make sure you're learning the tool as well, so that even if you find yourself in an interview, you would be able to speak it, even if you don't have that much experience on it. They know you understand what it does. Yes, they might be looking for certain years of experience, but because you understand, the know-how and how this thing works and you're certified, it could help you get your foot in the door. Thank you.
Perfect. Over to you, Michael. Over to you.
Sorry. To me, I believe training, then getting the certification helps. In as much as you may not experience builds up on a lot of things and gives you in-depth knowledge, but having to go through trainings and going through this now learning, if you're not opportunity to do the instructor-led trainings, we're having to go through the on-demand and training yourself with simulators to get to know the tool, then you get certified. It is a way to go, because in my little experience, it has helped me to speak to some tools in as much as I may not have in-depth knowledge on them. And yes, it has helped me get by things and have engaging communication with people that are really experts in it. So I would say training, then know the tool, as Tosin rightly mentioned, then you can go for the certification. Yes, knowing is always in spectrums. Let me put it that way. You might just have an overview knowledge of it, because just going through the now learning wouldn't give you an in-depth knowledge of it. But if you ask me, ServiceNow is just like a chip of the main framework, especially when it comes to ITSM, is a chip of the main framework, which is ITIL. Likewise, other tools like SPM is a chip of the main framework for which is the PMI project management framework that they have, PMBOK. So it's likewise other tools. So if I always prefer I'm of the school of thought that after getting that, you get your certification for ServiceNow, so you become like sought after because and keep a good image. Then you go back to the main framework and try to get yourself updated. It really does help to put you out there and help give you a broader knowledge of the tool itself. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. So, Emeka, are you able to tell us? Because I know the last time you were breaking when you were said, are you able to?
Try to move away from project. So, from my own point of view, I would say if you are looking at it your own, not from company view, because currently ServiceNow is making the certification thing so important. You'll not be able to work on certain projects without having this PRS for them. I think that started recently. So there are certain, I think it's mostly all implementations you will need to have this PRS. If not, you will not be listed as a qualified qualified development part of the development team for that particular implementation. So if you're looking at it that on implementation point of view, it'd be very important for you to get those CIS that tilt towards the direction where your interests are. If you are moving towards ITSM, after your CSA, I would advise you just go straight, to do your ITSM and then think of that, do your card and the rest of that. Then that goes cost across to the other certifications as well. But if I'm to give it from personal development point of view, I would say the knowledge is very important because you could get the CIS and still be very shallow in understanding how, having the in-depth experience or in-depth understanding of that particular module that you are training. Like if with ITSM, you need to finish the ITSM is in two parts on our learning. You have the fundamentals and then you have the ITSM implementation. So you do both. The fundamentals kind of goes in depth about ITO, and then the implementation shows you from ServiceNow perspective how the ITSM application is implemented. So to me, I would say it's 50-50 because you need the start. You need the start to get the to get the job. Because most times now, when you look at job descriptions on LinkedIn or on Indeed, you are seeing them requesting for some certain certs depending on what the business is all about. So if you don't have those certs, it kind of limits your opportunity as well. So in as much as you are getting the cert, you should also try to be well grounded in those particular certs. So you don't go to interviews and then you have this CIS on your CV and the basic questions about them and you are unable to give good explanations for them. So to me, I would say get the cert, then get grounded in depth understanding of them. Most times you need experience to at the end of the day get implementation. You need a job to get implementation experience because there's very limited you can do on your PBI as long as your imagination can take you. But at the end of the day, you still need to do what you have to do, whichever works for you. But the start 50%, the knowledge as well 50%. So while you're getting the start, you make sure you get the knowledge as well. So,
Awesome stuff. So that's it. That's the truth. It's a mix of both of them. But trainings is like your go-to. You want to make sure that you have training that way. You're looking at that product in deep depth so that you have, some of them are experimentations, some of them are, while you're doing the implementations themselves, that's fine. You have your PDI, you have these now create with starter stories. So not just, just building custom app. There's a lot of guidance that can help you to tinker with stuff. And then there's a lot of, whether it's for fundamentals, whether it's for the implementation courses. Yes, ServiceNow has tried to, with the change to their partner program, now there's a lot of force to make sure, unlike before, they're making sure that your partner must have those certified practitioners up to a particular level. So that's that push for certifications that's there too. But they've always had that. It's just that they were not strict with actually implementing it in that regard. But the fact still remains that the training gives you the, especially the hands-on, not just theory all the way. You need to be, breaking that your PDI personal development instant. Go there, break it, fix it, debug that instant, request it. Each application there is a plugin. Look for these data stories or sample stories. Look for white paper. Look for how you can implement it. There's implementation sequence there. There's also the guided setup, which would provide you with that wizard to walk you through what to do, how to set up most of the basic application. So, or default application. So it's there for you to go and do, get your hands dirty and break stuff. The certifications is important because it gives the foot in the door. Like for you to even get shortlisted for interviews. Let's say you know the whole thing or you're the best candidate. Without those sets, nobody's going to call you for an interview. They would not, because you have not met the criteria for them to call you, except you have your brother that is going to pull you and say, yes, this one has all the technical training and all that. No, but those certification kind of like brags for you, so that when you come there, with that hands-on experience plus simulations, you should be able to go and speak to the thing because you have seen it before. Look at the job description, look at do your research, look at the product document, look at the simulators that are there, practice it in your PDI or in the now create PDI or now learning PDI. Go there and then lash it. Go there and deliver. But it's very important. It's a mix of, but you need it, because if not, for you to get there and then sustain you on the job, because that training is what will sustain the foot in the door and getting the interview stuff is what the certifications show, right? But to sustain you there, you need to always have that. A great conversation, liking it so far. The next one is actually a good segue. This is your take: generalist versus specialist. Do you want to be a generalist, so knowing everything, right? Like they say, or do you want to be a specialist, specializing in niche areas? So over to you, Tosin.
I'm somebody who I would consider as a multi-potentialite. So I always like to see everything, but at the same time, I always want to pick a niche. And I believe it is better to be a specialist, even though you are aware of, you have knowledge of the general stuff, but you are actually, specific to a part. For example, I would say in ServiceNow, I know there's, we have different modules, but, the goal for me personally would be to find a place where I know, okay, this is my spot, this is my space. And this is what I'm a subject matter expert on, than being for general, anything comes, anything goes. So yeah,
Really
to have a
awesome
niche.
stuff. Awesome stuff. Getting the niche. Okay, the specializing queue. Okay, over to you, Michael. Then we get Emeka. Over to you. Go ahead.
To me, yeah, it is really, this is very relative. I mean, I'm still trying to decide for myself what exactly I am. But so far, this is what I think about being a specialist and a generalist. I feel it depends on how early you are or your stage at which you are in the market, and how confident are you and how hungry you are. Okay, taking my personal should I say personal story or personal experience. being a generalist is lovely, especially when you want to be in demand, you want jobs always, you're hungry, you want to know everything. And I believe it's possible. I don't subscribe to the school of thoughts that says, um, is it how does it go? Is it master of everything and something, I don't
Okay,
know how
jack of all trade,
forgotten.
master of none. Is that what he's trying to say?
Yeah, that kind of thing. So
Okay.
yeah, that's exactly it. So I don't subscribe to that. I believe we cannot be one person, we can be many. You have the potential of being many. In as much as you can build that in your thought and imagination, you can do it in real life. And that is what has been keeping me going. And coming into the service now space, I came in hungry and I came in um, flowing with the market demand. In as much as it's very exhausting, I try to, now I can say I'm a generalist, but I would really love if I wasn't this hungry and I came in very comfortably into the market, into the ServiceNow ecosystem. I would love to just focus and really put all my energy, laser focus on one aspect and make that my niche. I don't know if you understand. So that's that is where I am heading towards now, because being a journalist can be very exhausting, but it also has its potential and it's very lucrative, because wherever the trend is going, you're there and you can easily fit in. But it can be exhausting. While being a specialist, calling this my niche and giving your laser focus and expanding on that aspect can be very rewarding as well, because you know you're an expert in this field. And whenever that is mentioned, either through algorithms or through your works, they will always call your name. So for now, I'm a generalist, but I'm narrowing down to being a specialist.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Emeka, over to you. So what's your take?
Um, to me, like Michael has said, it depends on your how long you've been in the system. If you are just like for those that probably they were in a company and that company adopted service now, said we want to use it for ITSM and you started working on ITSM from the get-go. It's easy for you to become, a specialist from that point because that's the first thing you knew about and you are supported. You had the support from the company. You know, work on it from a life perspective, from a life environment perspective, compared to you just coming into the ecosystem. You are yet to know where you want to go. I'll use myself for example. Actually, I didn't know which part of service now I needed to go to. So I did the CSA, and after the CSA on my card, I waited and I was following the trend of what everybody else was doing, and I went to do ITSM. Then after ITSM, I was like, okay, what do I do next? And I went to do CSM, and I kept on doing and doing and doing. But the good thing about you starting off as a generalist is it opens your eye to different branches of service now. You could understand when people are talking about the CSM. You could understand when people are talking about the SPM or any of those applications. Until I moved and then I got onto the point of discovery. So in the beginning, people were telling me discovery is hard, don't do discovery. It's for people that are coming from a very technical, IT background. Those are the ones that can easily do, discovery. So after doing PAM and SAM, those two applications, those two exams kind of made me understand that discovery is like something in service now that you need to know. But it was during my time of doing those exams, I discovered I actually like, the technical part of configuring, you know, CMDB and, discovery and, what discovery is all about. So when I went into discovery, I loved it so much that I broke my system. Now, I currently don't have a computer. because I installed a new server on my computer and installed virtual machines, and then I overloaded my GPU, and that's what I burnt my I burnt my motherboard. So I'm currently on the verge of replacing my computer. So why doing all that? I knew how much I learned, doing it from my own, discovering the computers I had in my house. And at the end of the day, I'm like, why do people say this thing is so hard when I could do them? So you don't know where your strength lies from the beginning, from the get-go. You could be following the crowd because everyone else is doing ITSM. You don't know if your love for service now is really going to drop in software asset management or any of their lots of applications. So you don't know where you are going to fall in love with because at the end of the day, it has to do with your interest. You understand? So you might be a generalist, knowing every other application, having base knowledge of them, even if they're not very in depth. Then being a specialist in one particular one. So look yourself as the letter capital T. The top part of the T is your generalist part, and the bottom part of the letter T is your specialist part. So understand the other parts of the system of the platform, then be a subject matter expert in one, which makes you a specialist. But you won't discover that, I promise you, except you already had a niche before coming into service. Maybe you are coming from any of these other platforms like Microsoft, or you've done DevOps and you say, okay, this is what I want to do in service now. But if you are coming in as someone like me that actually had no direction, you might not, I might not advise you to be a specialist from the beginning until you've been there for a couple of um, you've been there for a couple of time to choose what exactly you are more interested in.
Awesome. Awesome. Like I said, the whole idea is there's no real right or wrong answer. Michael, go ahead. You raise your hand. Go ahead.
Um, yes, there's, as you said, there's no real right or wrong. I just looked at the chat. Someone said, yeah, companies are asking for HRSD, TSM, CSM. It's really tricky, honestly. And in as much as it's really tricky, it's also very exhausting having to sit down, go through all this because at the end of the day, you may not, because you've not had hands-on experience on them, it becomes difficult for you to really have serious interactions with
Okay.
people with on those modules. um I'm coming from a project management background. I've had about 8 years serious project management experience, that's rising from being a project coordinator to eventually being a project manager. And coming to ServiceNow, I was wondering if I would be sorted after. Like, I mean, would I be in everybody's mouth looking as project managers in the ServiceNow ecosystem exactly? To am I going to um, be in demand per se?
Mhm.
It's been difficult, and yes, that has made me explore the development aspect of it. But
Mhm.
when I go for interviews, people want to connect with my project management self. They tend not to want to relate with me in the development aspect. They
Mhm.
feel like I'm an authority already in the project management space. They want to connect with me in that line. But at the end of the day, they will say, okay, but for now, we don't have project management experience. We don't have project management openings. So maybe when we have, we will get to call you, because I believe there is this thing that speak to them when you interact, when you are really having an in-depth hands-on experience in a particular space. Like if you're into development, you would really speak to it. And yes, maybe it's my fault that I haven't been actually speaking well to it, or maybe they just look at my experience and maybe the things I say and the words I use are basically project management related. So what am I saying in essence? I think to better help you understand is to not sell off your past experience. Try to marry them to where you're going to. And if you don't really have too much, from too much IT experience that you can bring into the ServiceNow space, I think you could decide to become a generalist to know a bit of everything. But it's just a matter of time before you start narrowing down.
All right. Great contribution, Michael. Great one. So before I get my take on it, Darius says it's like seeing a doctor, right? Dr. A, who's a general practitioner, right? And then you could now see a specialist because the generalist would send you to a specialist, right? He sends you because maybe he sees it, he gets a general understanding of what it is. And then maybe you're seeing a neurosurgeon, that one would take you more time to get, right? To become that, master, if you will. It pays off over time, right? That's what that lets us know, right? And then the platform is connected, which definitely you've come to see. So you can always pick up in all these other areas, he says, which is true. Whether it's discovery, service maps, HAM, SAM, all of these acronyms, right? Asset management, hardware, software, enterprise assets, or IT service management, right? Enterprise service, whichever it is. The truth is that the platform is wide, it's broad. A lot of people just say it's a ticketing tool. Yes, ServiceNow started out like that. That's why IT service management is the most robust of it, right? The most matured area or the most matured process that they has. But that's not the only process area that they have now. It's supposed to be a workflow company or a software application software as a service. So different application areas, different application suites, how all of these are all connected. Like you had, SAP ERP, it's the same thing. ServiceNow is doing the same thing, right? Disjointed systems is bringing it the whole back office, front office, everything, engagement layers, right? For me is this, which is the same thing that Dari is trying to say. Depends where you are in your career, right? If you're starting out new, you want to be a generalist. So there's the word, it's called generalizing specialist, right? Generalizing specialist. What that means is you're synergizing the both. So, but if you're starting out in your career, you want to always have a job. Imagine you're working for like a customer or a partner. If you're a specialist in that area and they don't have a job for that area, you would be on the bench and then they can't stomach your salary for a very long time. So you can get laid off. So if you're a journalist in that, imagine Deloitte, KPMG, Accenture, there's so many BCG, all of these partners, there are a lot of them. If you're a specialist there, you must have been a senior before they can, they can really say, okay, yes, we are keeping this guy. We even, sought after this guy to get him in the first place. But if you're a journalist then, starting out, you will always be busy. There's always projects, 30 days, maybe 90 days, maybe 60 days, maybe 180 days. You always have a project. So you always be busy. So you're going to know a ton of stuff. You're looking for implementation. Your hands will be dirty, right? And experimentation, nothing beats the platform. That's why we say go do simulation tasks there. If you're not practicing this thing, there's no difference between your PDI and that one. But if you're not practicing it, then you cannot speak because you're not seeing it. Now, the platform is all about the engagement. If you're not engaging with the platform, there's no way. There's no way. So the specialist one, you grow into it, right? As you go, as you progress. Like for me, when I started out, which is what I always, advise, even mentor people and stuff, I say the engagement layer, IT service, HR service, customer service, then you can now start to look at other areas, like whether you're looking at SPM, so application portfolio, or project portfolio, or any of them there, right? Then you can start to niche out. There are so many other areas there to niche out on. So whether you want GRC or SecOps, or whether you want, you want to be ITOM, CMDB, you want visibility. There are so many areas there to niche out on too. There are so many areas. But you want to understand that once you have the foundation first, that's why a lot of people, start out with ITSM. It's all tax-based. So ITSM is the most mature in that platform. So if you have that done, the other things is to remember that everyone is an analyst first and foremost, right? Whether you call it consultant, it's just one is technical, one is process. If you understand it's about getting to a value proposition, a common and shared understanding with your customer, then you understand that you don't have all the answers, but you're there to ask questions and then go research. You're resourceful, go research. to get those answers. So if you understand the ITSM, you should be able to go look at the documentation and deliver on any solution within that tool, within ServiceNow, because they brought a broad spectrum of documentation to help you. Implementation sequences, so much stuff now create there. It's there. It's there. The implementation, the whole thing is there. Community is there. There's a host of people that will help you, succeed, that are routing for you. So I don't see how, it's not like a bandwagon effect. But the key is, you will find your niche only by doing. If you're not doing, there's no way. You have to be doing. So Okwe says, for starters, there is always more opportunities for journalists. Yeah, you're not going to be on the bench. You always see something to do, right? Yeah. Then you can expand your knowledge as you get on more projects, which is the truth. Because hey, there will always be something to do. There will always be a new area. There will always be improvements to them. Some of those applications, they were there before. Now they are now in the ServiceNow store. There will always be that. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Go ahead, Okwe, over to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, Emeka. I just want to buttress a point. I work within the consulting world, and just like you said, sometimes there might not be a project that you're comfortable with, but you want to make sure that you are in a project, not to be laid off, because the market is not as strong. Companies are not making as much money as before. So you want to make sure that you are billable. But I have a situation where I wanted to leave my current project because I just got tired of it. And I spoke with the resource manager, and the resource manager was like, okay, well, you know what, we don't have anything on ground right now, but we have some opportunities coming up in CMDB, in HRSD. I noticed that you have this application in it. Is this something that you would like to consider? Of course, it's not something that I've done live project before, but what do I do? If I want to leave my former project and I want to make sure I'm billable, I just have to answer yes. But that comes with a commitment. That comes with me going back to the platform to expand my knowledge. And like you said, it could be challenging, but at the end of the day, who owns the knowledge? It's still myself. Even though I may need to burn candles, well, let me use candles for now, you understand that. Even though I may need to put that extra effort, but I will still have the knowledge identity, and I will add that to my portfolio. So I just told her, yes, if the opportunity comes up, then I'm ready to take it up. And as I'm saying yes to that, I'm going back to my platform to start checking, okay, what do I need to get this done? Because when the project comes, the kickoff can be the next day. So having that readiness to pick up those projects is a very good one for starters that are looking for opportunity to get into. And just to add to that, I know people that never started with ITSM. Some started with CSM. I know someone that started with SIR. So it's not always ITSM sometimes. So just be ready to take it up.
Awesome stuff. And that's the key there. Awesome stuff. There's no one size fits all. And that's why I said there's no right or wrong answer. What really matters is go in there, engage. Go in there. There's a ton of stuff. Go in there. These are all applications. Some of them are in suites. When you get into the job place, you will see that many of the things that are quoted in those job descriptions, you're not doing half of it. You're not doing half of it. That's a fact. It's just what it is. They're just checking the boxes, essentially. They just copy that thing and paste it. It's like they are sharing it among themselves, this recruiter or the agencies. But they do what they do. So Darius says that I think in the last 1 year we can see that being a journalist is not a good advice. And then he says here's why. You are competing with a whole lot of people with experience in that area. ServiceNow is not the same like when we started. Yeah, that's true. That's true. ServiceNow is not the same because now there's much more people. And then the thing is, whether you like it or not, don't throw away your experience from everywhere else. Every company has an IT department. So don't throw it away. It translates, right? All you just need to do is like, it's all concepts. If you're overthinking the thing, it now becomes, you're now difficult, right? It now becomes difficult for you to transition or make that make that connection between where you are and where you want to go. So don't let perfection or being that being that guru in that new area make you not want to even try it, or say I don't know. You don't need to know or have all the answers, but try to do your own bit. Be open to being that person that's dumping all the work on, so that you just be soaking the experience you need, because it's going to pay you. Maybe that company might not pay you. You're doing it as training ground now, but the next person that's going to take you is going to pay you huge. Let's say the first person doesn't pay you too well. It's just you didn't want to overshoot yourself. Subsequently, the next person is going to really up your game. But for sure, that's for sure. That's for sure. Okpe, did you have any other question or advice you wanted to throw in before we have wrap it up?
Basically, nothing much. The background of everything is that we want to be resilient as ServiceNow evangelist. They can't take away that from us, because we are solution providers, we are trusted advisors, and that means we need to know it before we can advise someone. That means we need to get our hands dirty first before we can go out there to speak to a consultant. But all in all, we don't want to be scared. We don't need to know everything. We want to know how to deflect, which is very important in workshop. If they ask us a question that we don't know and we don't have a senior technical person on the call, we can tell them that we'll circle back on that. We just want to make sure that we get back to them on the answers for that.
Perfect. Like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. And then it's all about the analysis, right? One is an analyst, the other is calling it consultant, but they all mean the same thing. It means that I'm able to get on the same page with my customer. How I do it, I'm asking questions, I'm being able to research, do what I need to do. Everybody there, like in your workplace, they know you can deliver. Yes, you might not have, they've seen the potential. It's for you to now see that potential in you too, right? So just before we go to words of advice, and Dare said his 2 cents is for you to specialize quickly, right? Start from the general platform capability, right? So you learn IT services or ITSM, IT service management, so incident, problem, change, knowledge, the process, fundamental, if you want to implement that. But he says you don't necessarily have to certify, right? But you will always come across it, because that's the key. The whole platform is built around there, right? That's the thing. So then you find a niche. You do research, good area, right? Focus on that area and then try and do it fast, so that way you can get to a specialist, that master, that person that they are looking for all the time. That's that thing. But each person has a different career journey, which is the truth. So enjoy it, but be open to that lifelong learning, growth, expanding, and then doing what you do best, like engaging, experimenting, breaking stuff, fixing stuff. That's what we do. That's the differentiator between us and others. I think Akamu gave a question. He says, anyone here who is a dev but does a lot of user experience work? That's the portal folks or UI builder folks. So that's the question. If we have anyone, we can definitely connect you with Akamu.
Emeka, just to add, I'm just going through the charts here.
Okay.
Like what Daria said and Hadex has also said, we have those that believe in being generalists, but Daria quite has a point when he says you should specialize fast. But why specialize fast as well? You need to be very, very particular about what you're specializing in, because we have some that are adopted quite a lot by organizations, and we have some of those applications where the adoptions are not very great and the jobs are not very much available as well. Mm-hmm. So looking at job descriptions over the past 1 year, especially here in the UK, mm-hmm. I've noticed that adoption has been going more towards discovery, because mm-hmm. most of these companies already have their ITSM tools that they use. So there's been very limited ITSM adoptions, because while you want to move into ITSM, there's a lot of data migration that has to go into that, and many of them are not ready to budget that particular heavy. Like I currently work, we use SAP. They've been using it since I think early 2000s, and they are still using it up until now, even if it's not as efficient, because it breaks down a lot. And SAP, I don't know why, they are not really putting a lot of improvements on that platform. But it's just this year that they've decided to, start talking about changing it next year, by the second quarter of next year. I don't know what the adoption is going to be, but of course, it's going to be one of these newest platforms, either ServiceNow or whichever they might choose to go with. But what I'm trying to say is, you have to look at your location and look at what is in demand. What is in demand today might not be in demand tomorrow, so it's still very much dicey. So you still have to look into the adoption level and the possibility of what you've chosen to learn to scale in the near future. Because ServiceNow, we build it and keep it there. It's left for businesses to adopt it into their operation. So being a specialist, like I said when I spoke before, is good. Be like the letter T, but still have ideas in the other platforms. So if eventually projects come there, you don't need to go back to learning the basics. We know the basics is understanding how the platform works, but each of those applications meets a particular need for that business, for for the reason why it's been adopted. So be a specialist, and even if you don't have to be certified in the other ones, have knowledge in them, that if the certification is needed, you don't need to go through a lot of rigorous reading. You might just need to update yourself a week or two or three, and then take the CIS to make yourself available for that project.
Awesome stuff. And that's the truth. That's the truth. Like we're saying, it's your journey. Your research would provide you that context. You're not set on stone. There is only this one way. And that's the beauty of technology. There's a lot of ways to do the same thing. We're just looking for efficiency. That's why we try to do sessions even like this, so that people kind of like get the message, get what they really need. That there's the community that is routing for you in your back. It's nothing for us to forget. But great conversation so far. So the words of advice. So any words of advice you're trying to give us for new people to break into their careers and then break into IT and especially service now. Go ahead.
Okay, let me just quickly go, because my train will soon be here.
Oh, sure.
So, my own word of advice is, ServiceNow or whichever IT branch you choose to take, just know it at the back of your mind that there is no 6 months, six figures career. I need to start with that, because I see a lot of those adverts around, and I just need to put that advice out there. If there's anyone promising you anything of such, is not anywhere. It takes a lot of reading. Is a marathon, is not a sprint.
Wow.
It could ordinary for you to know the basics of JavaScript. For you to be able to read codes could take you 6 months to a year, depending on how much time you put into it. You get my point. So if you are choosing to come into IT, give it time. You might not get what you're looking for in the first 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years. It depends on how much you want it and how much time you are willing to put into it. I am a very radical person when it comes to studying, and that's the problem I used to have with my wife. I could sit in front of my screen for hours upon hours. My sleep my sleep pattern is currently very messed up, because because of Michael is in Canada. I worked a lot with Michael, so I need to stay awake while Michael is awake, so that we could do a lot of our collaborations together. And many people I work with, some are in the US, some are scattered all over the world. So when you begin to do this artist, or begin to meet people where you network, and these people might not share your time zone, and they know something that you want to learn, and you will need to start adjusting your time to be able to have them during their own timeline to learn what they know that you want to learn. Emeka holds his classes every Thursday night. That's Friday early morning my own time. And most times I try to join those sessions because I've learned so much in those sessions he does. I think Emeka has really done a lot in a lot I've learned from those sessions he used to have. So try as much as you can to limit your scope. Don't make your scope too wide. You could be learning service now and you will join a space maybe on Twitter and somebody is saying something about what they call it, DevOps, or are you like, okay, let me look into it, and before you know, you divert your attention to something else, and you end up wasting your time chasing too many things at the same time. So if you've chosen to learn this thing, put your mind into it and particular about it until you've gotten what you're looking for, instead of following the crowd and chasing what is in trend, and you might end up not getting the required results that you're looking for. Thank you, Emeka.
Awesome, awesome. Safe travel, Emeka. Nice one. Tosin, over to you.
Okay, so my advice for anyone just coming into the ecosystem, depending on which tool, is to always ask questions, reach out to people, learn from their experience, but at the same time, do not forget your own voice, because when you're reaching out to people, you're going to be hearing different things. You're going to be learning different things. And at the same time, you have to understand what do you actually want and make sure that, because, their vision might not always be your vision. And when you come into such an ecosystem like ServiceNow, I think one of the best things that happened was, I had people to guide me. I had people like Dare, I had people like Tammy, I had other people I could, just get on a call with, and, they would talk to you for hours just guiding you. I remember, starting the next gen, and I was always like, I don't want to read too much. I don't enjoy reading like this and all of that. And eventually it became kind of like a thing for me to do at least 4 extra hours of reading after the next gen, because you have to be online for a certain number of hours. And that has actually helped me to, gain platform knowledge. So I always tell people, sometimes go for platform knowledge. You don't have to know everything. But sometimes when you have these discussions, you understand that you read something about, this particular thing, and it helps you in those conversations. So reach out to people. Don't forget your own voice. You have your own goal or reason for coming into the ecosystem or picking up any technology you want to pick up. And at the same time, apply yourself. It's very important to apply yourself. I know people who, you have to be able to think for yourself as well. There's everybody, we all run busy lives and all of that. Nobody's going to do your assignment for you. You have to be able to, get the ideas, know your vision and run with it. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So, last but not the least, Michael, over to you, to your words of wisdom.
My advice for anyone trying to come into the ecosystem, let me not just generalize it to IT, but to the ecosystem itself. Just as my friends has actually spoken, Tosin and Emeka. One is first and foremost, get into a training program that will help you, guide you. The Rise Up program is a very good one. Back in my days, it was Next Gen. I think it's still on now. So that helped. That would be my first step, if you ask me. Then next will be learning and training. It's like an addiction. It's a habit you just have to cultivate. It never stops. You really have to learn a lot. You really have to write a lot of do a lot of training and learn. And as Tosin said, you shouldn't forget your voice as you network, because I will also add network like a hustle, like hustle it. It's meet people, you'll be a bulk to some people, because so far I've gotten in my transition into tech itself, it was spurred by networking. So network as a hustle, and in as much as you're going to be networking, you're going to be meeting a lot of people that their words may want to discourage you or bring you down or demoralize you. Don't forget your voice. Don't forget the reason why you decided to make that commitment to transition. That's with your training and your knowledge of the platform is going to skyrocket you with time. And you need to put in effort to learn the platform, and as well as patience to be patient with the job market. And yes, you make a lot of mistakes along the way.
Oh,
Thank
perfect
you.
stuff. Perfect stuff. And then that's it. That's the truth. That's it. There we have it. You're going a long game, right? So it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You're going to go. So you know, continuous learning. You definitely, you know, have your craft or your niche area you want to get to. So even just it's just like when you're going for the training, you know, there's going to be buzz or information out there a lot, but you can always focus on narrow it down. So just remember, because you know, it's not like you're trying to make sure that they are always saying exactly what you are, but you want the hard truth. So, but you know where you're going to, because there's always going to be a new technology, but you know you're focused that this is what I want to do, or this is where I want to get to, and then you work towards it. The trainings are there, whether it's next gen, rise up. There's on-demand courses. There's learning plans. There's so much. So don't hesitate. There's that community, which Tosin, Michael, and Emeka, you know, hosting the Nigeria ServiceNow Dev Meetup community. So join them. There's a lot of community there too within ServiceNow itself. There's also, you know, meetup groups. There's so much stuff. So you can do it on your own, but that's not how the way technology or life generally is not supposed to be. We're supposed to be in a community. So please, you need any help, reach out. We have sessions just like this. You know, new products will come in. Go take a look. Even in Now Learning, there's always going to be a new product, and then do videos there or new learnings. Go there and practice them. That's the only way you can even talk within interviews and things that you have, because if you have seen it before, you can speak to it. But if you have not seen it before, even if you're certified, you're just certified paper. So go get your hands dirty. It's very important, so that when you talk, you're talking intelligently, and they know. They don't expect you to be to the be all, but they know that you can get some stuff done. They'll just come into one bench and get paid. So just remember that. But we are all here together, co-sharing, co-learning. So there's a healthy community. We have the Pan-African IT community. There's the ServiceNow IT community also. So you know, don't hesitate to join. You know, grow your network. There's so much. There's so much we can do together, right? So together we can go further. So don't hesitate. People are always able to help. They have their life. Just make sure it's how will I put it? Make sure that you have your ducks in a row, so that way you both can work the whole thing together. But great experience. Thank you, Tosin. Thank you, Mecca. Thank you, Michael, for sharing your Saturday with us. We will be sharing the recording in a couple of minutes once we end the call. Then we'll also share their contacts. Please join them. So you can, you know, search for them on LinkedIn with their names, so that way you can grow the community. That's the only thing. And then also don't forget there is the Rising Star program, at least. So by December, we should be putting you guys out there. Tosin, you know, Emeka, and this. The only things that I expect you to go to that ServiceNow community, and then I want you to start to engage. There's a lot of, you know, questions there. You know, some of them you don't necessarily have to have done. Just Google the answer. Some of them product document, give pointers. Be active there, because that's the only way. They have to see that community engagement. You don't. That's how you build your expertise. You're putting yourself, even just hosting the meetup alone. That's alone. You need to push it. You know, the conveners of this. It's important. People are seeing. People are noticing. So put yourself out there. Which, you know, come December, definitely for that. You know, Rising Stars. You guys should be, you know, amongst that crew too. So don't miss it. Although would, you know, push that for sure.
Thank you, Emeka.
For sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, thank you guys for having us. It's been a nice session.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate the insights that everyone has given. And yes, I'm still very much early in my career as well. So I'm very much open to collaboration as well as more opportunities.
Awesome stuff.
Thank you.
So the Rising Star is ServiceNow's recognition program. They also have the MVP. So MVP program also is just like certifications. The whole idea is among the over 600,000 practitioners, your contribution is actually recognized. So it also is helpful. A lot of people, they see you in the promotional content, they will call you, ServiceNow will pay. Like the MVPs, you get a take on most of the products as they come out, so that you can provide guidance. You can also get freebies, like attending knowledge for free. All you just need to do is to pay to come and buy your your accommodation. But they'll give you a free ticket, free pass to the whole concert. So that's that. Then new products, you'll be input, like feedback, stuff like that. And it comes with the spec. So sometimes even before you get to the job, the people can already see you, poster chart. Like imagine seeing Chuck Thomas or something like that. So they might not even know the CEO, but they will know you, things like that. So it will give you some, there's a recognition, especially when you're even looking for jobs. So when they see that too, your name block or around, they'll be like, that's good. That means you're the go-to person or person that they need to speak to. So it's very important. So, and then yes, I know we are busy, but be able to put yourself out there and get that recognition. I mean, it's something that it would be able to also boost or project your career forward too. It's part of the whole. It's part of the whole journey. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Bye bye.
Thank you, Emeka. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Emeka, for having us. Take care, everyone.